It's finally here. They took their sweet time. But Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 is right around the corner. And we know this because they finally made their Steam page, which has given us a whole bunch of screenshots which are super detailed, and some secrets hiding in them. On top of that, we've also made some headway with the ARG, which pretty much tells us exactly what the main villain or antagonist in this chapter is going to be like. So sit back, relax, and let's get theorizing. Starting off with their Steam page, this is what it looks like. First thing you notice is we've got those trailers that we've already seen, but the difference being these 4 screenshots over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are so detailed. They look amazing. But there's actually a secret 5th one as well. That one was only posted on their Discord, but we've got that as well, so don't worry, we'll get into that. And we've also got this header over here, which looks pretty interesting because it shows us how they've designed the 3. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I think there's more to this 3 than meets the eye. But the only other really cool piece of information here is this description, so let's read it and see what's in store for us. A decrepit orphanage known as Playcare sits beneath the once magical toy factory. You must make your way through this haunted place, solving new puzzles and avoiding the nightmares that lurk within the dark. Answers lie between the blood-stained bedsheets and screaming echoes, if you can survive. First thing that jumps to mind is haunted place. That's giving Five Nights at Freddy's vibes, you know? Dead children, haunting the place that they died in, that sort of thing. So first things first, new monster awaits. We know that that's going to be this, I was about to say cat-like creature, but I haven't explained where we get the cat from first. The grab pack gets an upgrade. We know that's the purple hand that we've seen so far in this screenshot over here, actually. Right down there, purple hand. And it's probably going to be used in the way that we've seen in the beta for Project Playtime. A gas mask is the only way to safely explore, so we know that there's going to be a red gas that fills the air. We've seen in the trailer that the monster in this chapter is going to spit out that gas. Anyway, let's jump onto the images. This first one we're looking at is called Corridor. I mean, first thing you notice is this boogie bot being hung up by a red string, and then right next to it you can see that there's some writing on the wall. I'm not totally sure what that writing is yet. Kind of looks like it's upside down Roman numerals, but then that O looks like an omega. Who knows, there's probably going to be a secret hiding in that message as well. We can also see the beautiful use of Poppy inspired wallpaper, which is being ripped up over here, but you can see it in the background as well. And then when we look to this side, we see something pretty interesting as well. We can see a Bron toy. When you zoom in on it, you can actually see that that's Bron's head looking downwards. It's a shiny bald head, and he seems to also be kind of stabbed or forced into the wreckage, which is a consistent theme we've seen so far. These toys are being honestly tortured down here. And then down here, it looks like we can see another Bron, I think, because it's got yellow and red, but then we can also see a cat bee. Other than that, there's not much more to it. It really reminds me of the room that we found Poppy in the first chapter. It's got that residential look, like actual bedroom. I can't quite fully make out what this rug or carpet is the image of as well. I mean, if I quickly do some Photoshop magic and try and turn it around. Okay, so not bad, I would say. I blurred out the background just to make it a little bit easier to look at. Tell me that's not Boxy Boo right there with those are his eyes. I'm pretty sure this is what it looks like. He's got his tooth out here as well. And then you can see the springs of his potential arm. And this kind of looks like Bron's head. I cannot make out what this thing is over here. And I really can't tell what this green box is either, but it's gotta be toys. So maybe this is a cute little rug for the children's rooms, and the design is just inspired by the mascots. Wouldn't have noticed unless I used my Photoshop powers. But yeah, other than that, I can't really see anything else in here. So on to the next one. Ooh, this looks good. This one is called Dorm. Obviously, it's a dorm room. This is where the children in the orphanage would have slept. You've got the stacked up bunk beds. But first thing that I notice is this massive hole in the ground. But now that I think about it, I actually see another hole in the ground over here. First thing that comes to mind is like an access point for the monster. Maybe when we're coming through here, this is how he comes out. Or maybe this is where the red gas comes out of when we're in here. Kind of like a timer thing. We got to put our mask on because the red gas is coming out, and then we've got to take our mask off when the red gas goes. Got some massive blocks over here, which no child could play with because they're huge. And again, we can see the 3 scratch marks, which indicate the antagonist of this chapter. We know that they've got massive talons or claws. So they're probably the one that made these holes in the ground. So I just played with the brightness and contrast to see if there's anything else hiding in here. I can't see anything other than these potential fans on the ceiling, which aren't that exciting, but I guess you get to see that now. And another thing, I'm not totally sure what this red light is over here. But what I can see is that one of these bunk beds is slightly falling into the hole in the ground. Just a sad sight, man. No one hiding underneath the bed. That would be super creepy. Some kids made their beds and some kids didn't. Maybe that's the order of how the antagonist kills the kids. I don't know, that's pretty dark. Anyway, let me know if you see anything else in this enhanced image. But let's go on to the next one, copy of factory. That's what this image is called. So we can see some lockers on the side, just general rubble on the ground, and some exit signs, which we know isn't going to take you anywhere because we're so deep in the factory. First thing we notice is this Huggy toy on the ground. Now, it doesn't have fur like the mini Huggies that have killed us before, like in Project Playtime, or in the pit in Chapter 2. So maybe this one is literally just a toy. Got little beady black eyes. But I do find the other toys a little bit more interesting. We've got a Mommy Longlegs over here, decapitated with its head flying on the side. We've got a Bunzo the Bunny decapitated here as well. And maybe another Bunzo the Bunny decapitated, which goes back to the theory that I've had in the past that there's this weird decapitation ritual that this toy does. I don't know, I find that really dark. Now, these lockers are exactly like the ones that we see in Project Playtime, and we know what we use them for, hiding. So maybe we're gonna have to do that here as well, who knows? We can see a little heart over here, and some general stickers over here, so maybe these are originally in the lore, the lockers that the children used in the play here. Again, we've got some backpacks which are open. Why do I feel like we're gonna find some collectibles or items in here? Now onto the coolest one, the classroom. Clearly, this is where the children in the orphanage would have spent most of their days. We can see a teacher's desk and their chair where they'd sit at the front of the classroom, their chalkboard behind them for lessons, and then the mini children's desks over here, which in classic Playtime Co. style are designed like toys. Look at these feet, they're like dinosaur legs. And we've also got these windows out into this other area, maybe like an outside play area. But first thing you'll notice is that it's obviously very fake. We're so deep in the factory, there's no way that you're going to be able to see any real sunlight. And you can tell by the shape of these trees, you can just see the shadow of their cardboard cutout. They're literally 2D fake trees. So these kids were cooped down here for so long. It's kind of giving Garten of Banban vibes, you know, those fake trees. Never mind, we don't have to go there. And underneath here we can see some blue, so that might be a Huggy's arm, a toy Huggy. And another decapitated Huggy over here. The head of a Bunzo. The head of another Bunzo over here. Oops. Now that looks like a candy cat literally with no head as well. Oh my god, I just noticed that this is a toy that we haven't seen before. So this must be like a cushion based on the main antagonist of this chapter, who probably was being marketed as something cute as well. And more pillows over here, but I am certain that there's this weird decapitation ritual that this thing does. Now, I'm not sure what this is under the bookshelf. I don't know if it says YUC or YOC or POC, I can't tell. But we'll keep an eye out for that when we actually come into this area in the chapter. Ooh, then creepy over here, we've got those children portraits. We've seen those before, like in the teaser trailer. Oh, I just noticed that there's a P on this chair. Maybe it's just a P for Playtime code, but it might have something to do with those codes that we saw before in the first image. Oh, and I just noticed another decapitated mommy. Oh my, I'm certain that something is going on with the heads. Okay, now we can clearly see the portrait over here. But other than that, nothing really can be seen. Other than this really cool cat beast stool that you can see in the background. I like that. Let's mess around with these rugs. I mean, we can clearly see Huggy's face over here, so that's pretty cool. And when we look at this one, we can also see that that was maybe a brawn on the previous one we saw. Not sure what shape this is or who that's meant to represent. Anyway, on to the next one. So this is clearly an image of the factory, and I'm pretty certain that it's just an alternative angle of this place over here, because if you look at this big cylinder on the side, that kind of looks like this cylinder over here. My guess is still that this is going to be used to synthesize the poppy gas or liquid, and we're probably going to have to do a mini game with this, kind of like when we made the glove in the other chapter. I mean, when I enhance the image, you don't see too much more other than the fact that it's just a really big machine, but I can see these really weird squiggly lines in the middle of them. I wonder what that could be. Is that just a really big poppy flower in there? And maybe that's how they synthesize the poppy juice? I don't know, this one is gonna need a little bit more information to really understand what's going on. Drop your theories in the comments. Now, I quickly want to jump to the header for the Steam page, because like I said before, I just feel like this 3 that they've given us is designed very specifically. My theory is that it's playing into this amalgamation stitching theme that's going on, and the bottom of the 3 is showing how it's kind of being stitched together, and you can see stitching over here as well, and fibers and that sort of thing. Now, I must admit something to you guys. I'm not the biggest ARG head. I mean, you get given crumbs, you gotta flip it around, squeeze it, stretch it, and you might get a set of numbers, and that'll give you access into one of these things over here. I kinda like just seeing what the results are of the ARG, and this is one of the results that I really want to talk about. We've been given this new project proposal, which gives us a whole bunch of information about the real monster. It's heavily redacted, but it's clearly talking about experiment 1188, in particular the cat-like features that we're gonna see. We believe we have the opportunity to create our most sophisticated and capable bigger body to date. In essence, 1188 will be every bit of something play care requires, probably referring to security or some kind of warden that the play care requires. But this is where it gets interesting: materials and methods. A gas delivery apparatus will be affixed to the back of the esophagus, which exactly confirms what we theorized before, and was kind of given to us in the last trailer. The antagonist is the one that's dispersing the gas out of its mouth. This little video here is probably the apparatus, and that's been fixed inside the mouth of this creature. Further the cat-like qualities of the toy's anatomy, we've opted to include retraction devices within the paws, allowing the redacted to act in much the same way as a cat's claws. And there you go, this thing is gonna be like a cat. Anyone that owns a cat knows that they can retract their claws easily, and we've seen the talons on this thing, it's scratching up the whole place. But like I always say, there's only one way to find out, and that's when it comes out. So in the meantime, there's only one thing you can do. It's shameless plug time. Go enjoy my podcast. Don't listen before bed. I tell you spooky stories, and you can tell me whether they ruined your night's sleep or not. And make sure to give your boy 5 stars. It means a lot to me. But for now, see you later. Bye.